Basically, quite a lot has happened, and we'll just get into things. And guess what? I was right. I said like 3, 4 weeks ago that 1.19.3 would probably release by the end of the year or early next year. Guess what? I was right. I did only say by the end of and by the end of next year, just because, no, early next year, because, well, they hadn't released anything, and I was thinking it's getting surprisingly close to a point where they should be releasing a release date if they are going to release it soon. Of which point I think it was probably after that stream. It was like, yep, we're releasing 1.19.3 on the 6th of December, which didn't actually end up happening. They had to push it back a day, just for some small issues, but we managed to get it 7th of December. So that was exciting. But we'll get into things. So basically, they're doing it like Bedrock, and a bit like how they did in the snapshots. They'll be using the experimental bundles, so that experimental data packs. So you've got bundles again. There's a separate data pack and then 1.20 updates. So I've got both of these enabled on the world. You can't enable them on previous worlds that I've already created, only on new worlds. It will warn you and whatever. So you got those. You got panorama screen scroll. They've actually added the new default skins. Already, so that was quite quick. That was quite exciting. Those are available as a random. You'll get a random one if you're playing offline. A new wood sounds. I've also got some changes like the creative inventory changes. There's this operators tab. If we go into controls under here, you should see that it's there. I've got Welsh Welsh language on, so that's the little thing. But you can see that we now have these little blocks easily able. You don't have to go through the command blocks with /give or whatever. Um, so yeah, there we go. That's the thing. So you've also got a new Vex look, which makes it look a lot more like the LA, and probably I don't know how it feels like in game. The hitbox is still the same, but I don't know. I have a feeling it might be a little bit easier to hit, or seem like it's going to be a little bit easier to hit, but I don't know. Like, just because of the visuals, I don't know. But it looks cool. It looks much better now. So there we go. That's added something. What else is there? So there was new Vex looks. Nether mobs only spawn at like level 7 and below now instead of like level 11. Changes to block support. I'm not sure what that means. Spawn block changes. So that means that basically, if we get a spawn block from here, we should see it's in the creative inventory. We can get it here. It's now blank. It doesn't spawn with a default pig. You have to actually get a random mob spawner to get it in. And there we go. There's a polar bear. You can then obviously destroy it as usual or whatever. Right. So it's in here now with its own separate thing for mob egg. Eggs. Mob. I can't remember what they're called, but spawn eggs. That's it. That's the word. So yeah, there's that. Changes to chat, and then added draft player reports. So improvement to the open LAN screen, which means that basically if we just open to LAN, you should see there's a port number here that we can set manually. It will be a random number by default. So there's that. There's also been the stronghold placement has been changed to make it a little bit more efficient, but it's also like the placements will have been changed. They will be spawning very similarly. It's just ever so slightly different. Teleport to team member, whatever, changes to tooltips, and then the wildlife based music has been reduced to make it less loud. So yeah, it was quite loud before, but it is no longer. Also, I can probably do that. I should see here we're in a game. So basically, that's that. We've also now got technical changes. So let's see, you got added feature flags for stuff like the update, 1.20 update features and whatever. So those early features, command changes. You've got the new telemetry event. I thought those were just going to be in the snapshot itself. Turns out it's not, and it is actually in this full thing. So if we just see here, no, here, date, right. So here we can see you've got so here you've got the default settings. So you've got it's just on world load and on world exit basically, and it'll give you just this data like ID client, session, Minecraft session ID, and whatever, right? All of that sort of stuff will be now sent over to Mojang, basically. You can read up more about it on the changelog or whatever. Um, so you got new game rules. So like, there's a few new game rules like that allows lava and to be sort of placed infinitely if you want, like a water source block. You can set that to true if you want. I'm not entirely sure what those commands are, but we can do that. So you got custom player head sounds. So you've got when you place a block now. This is a new little feature. So you've got no block. You get a no block. Basically, you can see you can place just a mob head. They're not called mob heads, are they? Well, they are, but like not in Welsh. I keep forgetting I've got this on. Where are mob heads? They're in useful blocks. So you can see if we can just get the wither skeleton. You can see. You can hear it plays the ambient sounds, and obviously there's a creeper here. So you can get a creeper head and just scare the living daylights out of somebody. If you're on Hockey multiplayer server or something. I can turn up the sound a little bit as well if I want. That's not going to be scary listening to it at all. If you want, if that's what you want to do. A little bit expensive to get, but it's something that you can now do. I think it's mostly good for map making and stuff, but that's an exciting change. Also, there's so many creepers around everywhere. But yeah, there's also you can also make custom sounds if you want for player heads and whatever. New entity types, instances of recipe books, blah blah. I'm not sure what that means. Changes to texture loading and stitching, so that should be probably maybe a little bit faster now. When you load a texture, it'll apply it a bit differently. You got network changes. Migrated to linear algebra types to Java OpenGL math library. So yeah, that's just probably should be the same results, but it's different back end basically there. So